This is the Amazfit Pace, a GPS smartwatch, and it has surprised me in a lot of different ways, mainly the price to value ratio. It costs $159 and it is crazy how much you get for that price. You get a smartwatch, a fitness tracker, a step counter, a heart rate monitor, and sleep tracking and all that. It just doesn't get better than this for $150. It's available with two different bands, either black or red, but if you're not very fond of those colors, you can of course install your own bands, you just have to know which size to get. The watch housing is made out of plastic except the bezel, which is made out of ceramic. The ceramic is very shiny and surprisingly it doesn't attract fingerprints at all. And on the back there's a heart rate monitor and charging pins, and on the side there's a button which we will get into later in this video. The overall build quality is great. It's obviously not a full metal construction, but that isn't needed or even achievable out of this price. Now the screen is fantastic. It's a 320 by 300 trans-reflective always-on LCD screen. Now this is the big energy saver here because it's a trans-reflective screen. It doesn't need to use its own backlight that often. Instead, it uses the light around it as its own backlight to lit up the pixels. Now of course this does not work at night, but for that it has its own backlight. So yeah, the screen is just really badass. In terms of smartwatch features, it kinda just shows you all your phone's notifications. There's no way of actually interacting with them, but for me, just seeing the notifications is enough, since then I can just decide if it's important enough to bring out my phone. Now let's get into the watch UI and software. To enable the touchscreen, you have to click the side button, which can be annoying sometimes, but you get used to it. Now swiping is the main way of navigating the software. Swiping to the right will show you steps, HR, music playback, alarm, weather, compass, stopwatch, and lastly sleep. Now on some of these widgets you can see more information by tapping on them. So in steps, for example, you can see your activity ratio between being stationary and on the move, and also your history. Swiping up reveals weather, a battery life prediction, silent mode, and settings. Swiping to the left from the home page reveals the sports menu where you can start an activity. Unfortunately, you can only choose between running and walking, which is a very bad selection. They should at least add cycling and strength training as well. In terms of battery life, it's quite amazing thanks to the trans-reflective screen. I got about 4 to 5 days of use, which is miles ahead of the Android Wear smartwatches. So yeah, the watch has a lot of features, but you gotta understand, some watches advertise a bunch of features that don't even work properly or are just very bad in general. But to be honest, this is not the case with the Amazfit Pace, because every single feature that they advertise works phenomenal. It's quite amazing to see. The step tracking, GPS tracking, sleep tracking, and activity tracking are all just as good as they are on my Garmin Fenix. Now of course my Garmin Fenix has more features, but it's also 4 times as expensive. So as a conclusion, the Amazfit Pace is a fantastic purchase for $159. Let me know what you guys think of the Amazfit Pace by commenting down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.